Growth doesn't require huge amounts of time. Please hear me clearly. Growth does not require huge amounts of time, but it does require faithful consistency. And sometimes that's just at 1%. Hello, and welcome to the Encourager Podcast, where we talk about real life and real systems so you can joyfully harmonize both home and work. I'm your host, Rebecca Scott. I'm a wife, mom, designer, coach, and lifelong systems thinker. And I help overwhelmed women build simple, sustainable rhythms that actually work for their real lives. Around here, we talk about priorities, pre-decisions, and practical tools that bring peace instead of pressure. Because you don't need more hustle, you need better systems and more grace. Today's episode is a good one. Hello, Encouragers. On this week's podcast, I want to talk about one of the very important systems of the 5 systems that I coach on frequently, and that is your me system. And this is how you get a full charge. I mentioned frequently that each one of us is going to look different. Some people want to go for a 5-mile run. Some people want to take a 5-hour nap. Doesn't matter to me as long as you know what gives you a full charge so that you can go about serving all the amazing roles and the gifts and the talents that God has given you, and you are at 100% charge. Think of it like your cell phone. When you don't plug your cell phone in the night before, let's say it's at 38% the next day, how long do you think it'll be until that cell phone dies? Sometimes when we're not taking care of our me system, our charge will die long before the activities or long before the things that we need to do for the day are done. And so how can you get a full charge? And sometimes this can be a daily full charge, and sometimes this looks like a weekly full charge. It's going to look different for all of us, but I'm always asking those that I coach, how can we make sure that you're operating at a full charge when you wake up? And so some of that means reverse engineering what that feels like, what that looks like in their life, where I spot joy in their life. And then we reverse engineer, how do we go about doing that? Is that a once a week thing that you get to take a break? Is it a daily thing? Because each one of us operates so differently. So today I want to talk about your me system, because I think that in the fall, our me system takes a big back seat until we can get everyone else organized. I mean, think about it. The sheer amount of paperwork coming in, the sheer amount of deadlines and activities and signups and fun extra things starts occurring. And those are all great, but we tend to let our new rhythms and our me system take a back seat. And I want to make sure that that doesn't occur this fall. And of course, we can do it at just 10%. So here's the good news about today's episode. You do not need a complete overhaul. We do not have the time for that, and I do not expect that. But I really would like you to improve one area by just 1 to 10%. I'm going to tell you about the areas here in a little bit. But I would never say you need a complete overhaul as we move into the fall. That's not fair to any of us. But we do need to make some improvements so that we can prioritize getting that full charge so that we can serve our people really well. The 4 areas of the me system, I think, as I've moved through coaching over the years, is these 4 areas: sleep, movement, quiet time, and personal growth. So let's talk about sleep. Sleep is not something you earn because you've completed everything on your list. That's not how it works, okay? It's one of the gifts God has given your body to restore for what He's called you to do. And when you look at it like that, I think it's a little bit easier to slide into sleep when you know it's because He wants you to rest so you can recharge and get up ready to do all the things He has laid on your heart. So a few ways that you can improve your sleep. Remember, I always try to give you something you can do in the first 10 minutes listening to the podcast. You could try any of these examples. You could go to bed just 15 minutes earlier. You could put your phone away 20 minutes before bed. This is key. I have so many friends that are starting to do this, and they can't believe how much better they fall asleep when they don't fall asleep to their phone. You could set one consistent bedtime. Maybe that's just your 1%. You're like, okay, I'm going to go to bed at this time. You could prepare tonight so that your mind can rest. You can just have a simple list there that's like, this is tomorrow, and now I'm going to rest. Or, you could skip one episode and just choose sleep instead if that tends to be your go-to. Or for me, it's choose one less task and get to bed, because I'm like, oh, just one more task. I'm like, nope. At the beginning, I start to feel that. I think, nope, I'm going to choose sleep tonight. Something that occurred to me as I was writing this podcast is my friend Jessica. Oh, I adore her. She said to me one time, and the way she said it was just so funny to me. She goes, oh my gosh, I love sleep. And it was the way that she unapologetically said, I love sleep. And then had zero qualms about going to bed at sometimes 8:30, laying in her bed. Sometimes she watched an episode, sometimes she read a book, and sometimes she just went to sleep. But she was unapologetic about that she loved sleep, and that she needed sleep. And I just took a lot away from that. Like, okay, that is a good thing. And she still has a thriving family, a thriving business, but she worded it different. And it felt like her mindset and her intentionality about it was different. And I aspire. So I want you to ask yourself, what small change would help you wake up more rested? Journal about it for a little bit, and then make that one small change in this area for your me system. Number 2, movement. Movement is not about perfection. We're not taking that on. We're not doing the perfect 5 days of 20-minute workouts or 5 days of 60-minute workouts, okay? This is not about perfection, but it is about stewardship. It's getting yourself moving. I highly recommend my habit tracker. It's a free resource on theencouragerpodcast.com. I love this because I can track the movement that I'm getting, the goals that I want. I can track to see like, okay, I had a bad week last week, but this week I'm going to do better. It just helps me to visually see what's going on. When we care for our bodies, we create more energy to love our families and to serve the people God has entrusted for us. Let me say this. When I do move, when I do exercise, when I do prioritize walks at lunchtime, I do have more energy. And when I drink more water. But movement, for whatever reason, really clears your head, it clears your body, and you can do more. Sometimes we think it's the opposite, like it will deplete us. But what I have found is that it actually gives me more energy. And what does that mean? I can care for my families better. I can anticipate their needs because I have more energy. And movement is the key to that. So here's some examples that you could start to make an improvement in the movement area. You could walk 10 extra minutes. You could stretch while your coffee brews. You could take a family walk after supper, if that works out. Maybe you stand while you're taking phone calls. Maybe it's just 5 minutes of stretching before bed. My husband and I have started this, which is sad because we're like, oh, wow, here we are. It helps so much. Or you could choose the stairs once a day if you're in an elevator situation. So I want you to ask yourself, what kind of movement gives me energy? And you get to pick. You know me, I do love burpees, but that's not everybody's. It's very rare. I love them to give me energy. But maybe yours is just deep breathing on your favorite spot in your house. Deep breathing is movement. Maybe you walk and deep breathe. But ask yourself, what 10% improvement could I realistically make in the movement area of my me system? Number 3, quiet time. Before everyone else's voice fills your day, make room for God's voice. Our strength doesn't come from having everything together. It comes from staying connected to the God who holds everything together. So in your quiet time area of your me system, where could you get more of it? Here's some examples. You could pray for 5 minutes before looking at your phone. Huge. Before you open up your phone, pray. Lucky for us, it's 2 P's. I'm going to pray before phone. You could read 1 chapter of scripture. You could journal 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe your quiet time is sitting quietly with your coffee before the house wakes up. Maybe it's just listening to worship music while getting ready instead of a podcast and gaining more information. Like maybe it's just worship music. What are some things you could do for more quiet time in your day to give yourself more of a full charge? And again, everybody's quiet time is going to look a little bit different, but I do encourage you to pick one of these or come up with some of them and then ask yourself, what would help me consistently meet with God? What could I create 5 intentional minutes to be? For me, in the middle of the day, if I'm craving more quiet time because I feel overwhelmed or stressed, I go to my prayer rug. I got it from the dollar store. No kidding. It's in my bedroom. And I get on my knees and I talk to God. And I just release it to him. I also have a big, beautiful picture of Jesus in my living room. And sometimes I go there. Kind of depends on how secluded I want to be in this quiet time. I also have a favorite worship playlist that I play in the studio when I'm shipping, or sometimes I play it before I enter my studio. This gives me some quiet time to reset what I am doing and why I am doing it. But I encourage you, find some time for quiet, and you will find yourself with a better charge. Hey, encouragers, hope you're enjoying this episode. We'll be right back after this short break. This episode of The Encourager is brought to you by Rebecca Scott Designs, where we create thoughtfully designed purses and accessories that support your real life, not just your outfit. Every bag is designed with intention, handcrafted right here in South Dakota, and built around the belief that beauty and function should work together. From custom fabrics and linings to leathers, zippers, and really cool features, you get to design a piece that truly fits your life. Visit designyourownbag.com to create your own custom bag and use code ENCOURAGER for $10 off your purchase. Number 4, personal growth. Never stop becoming the woman God is shaping you to be. Growth doesn't require huge amounts of time. Please hear me clearly. Growth does not require huge amounts of time, but it does require faithful consistency. And sometimes that's just at 1%. And here's a couple of examples of how you could sneak more or less personal growth into your me system, because ultimately we do want to become better at the roles and the systems and the talents and the gifts that God has given us. We just need a few examples, and then we need to understand why they are important so that we can keep improving our lives to be more like Christ. Here's an example. You could read one chapter a day from a leadership book or from the Bible. Maybe you listen to one encouraging podcast each week. Hello, thank you. Please subscribe. Maybe you journal for 5 minutes and you're trying to learn about your past and learn about your future and learn about the desires of your heart. Maybe you learn one new skill this fall. Now, pace yourself so you guys remember what fall is like. Maybe it's literally just cross stitching. Maybe it's an articulation app. What is one new skill that you could learn at just like 5 to 10 extra minutes a day? Maybe you finish one book before Thanksgiving. Or you replace 15 minutes of scrolling with learning something. I love this one. I'm an avid learner. I just love it. Or maybe you schedule a coaching session for accountability conversation. I would love that. I have one-on-one slots available for the fall, and I do love encouraging and coaching you to make some significant changes in the systems in your life. So ask yourself, what kind of woman do I want to become by the end of this year? Listen here, guys. Do not over-romanticize this. Don't do that. Don't make it bigger than it is. Just what are a few things that would help you to become the kind of woman you want to become by the end of this year? And what one habit would move you in that direction? What's one thing you could start in these areas that would move you to the woman you want to be by the end of the year? I just thought that I would give a couple examples for me in the personal growth one. I am actually doing an articulation app that helps me to speak more clearly. I know, hallelujah, being a little vulnerable here. I'm thinking about the speaking world a little bit and some really cool events. So stay tuned that I'm going to be putting on for the Encourager. And I just want to be able to articulate what I'm trying to say better. And so that's something that I'm learning. And that is a personal growth strategy for my me system. Okay, here's your challenge, you guys. Don't try to improve all 4. I don't expect you to do that. Just choose one. So for your me system, maybe you're going to improve your sleep. Maybe you're going to improve your movement. Maybe it's your quiet time, or maybe it's your personal growth, but just choose one of them and then improve it by 10%. Use some of the examples I gave you, or use your own examples. Small, intentional changes have a way of creating lasting transformation. Drastic overhaul will almost certainly burn you out. And so if you make these small changes at just 10% in one area of the me system, it could be a lasting transformation for the rest of your life. God is our foundation. And when you stay connected to Him and faithfully steward yourself, your family experiences the overflow. You're modeling something far bigger than healthy habits. You're showing your family what it looks like to humbly depend on God, care well for what He's entrusted you to, and live from a place of joy and peace instead of hustle and burnout. One day, your children probably won't remember what they had for lunch and whether it was Pinterest worthy, but they'll remember how your home felt, how much joy you had when you were serving them. They'll remember, was my house a sanctuary? Was it a safe place? And did they watch a mother who knew how to surrender to God instead of striving? Did they see someone who faithfully stewarded her body, her mind, and spirit because she knew they all belonged to Him? These lessons, when you learn them now, will become generational. Children often repeat what they consistently witness. How could we be more consistent in taking care of ourselves? As you rebuild your me system, you're not just changing this fall, you're helping shape the legacy your children may one day pass on to their own families. I know this sounds really big, but it is at just the most consistent, tiny ways. I can already see it in my own daughters and how they can recognize for themselves when they are striving and they just need a break. And I am praying that when they see me on my knees or they see me taking breaks, or they see me going for a walk, and they see me exercising in the morning, that they too will want that because they know that it energizes them, that it surrenders them, that it allows them to be more in God's presence when we surrender these things and we take care of ourselves well. You don't have to become a different woman before the end of the year because honestly, I don't want you to. I think you guys are awesome human beings, but we could make these tiny changes to help us out and to be able to better serve ourselves and our families. Choose one area, improve it by just 10%, and trust God with the rest. Because a healthier you doesn't just bless you, it blesses every person who walks through the doors of your home or work because they see someone with joy and peace all around them. And if this has been encouraging to you and you think that there's some changes you need to make in maybe the 4 areas of your me system, or maybe you're like, I need to overhaul my work system before the end of the year so that I can have a more successful 2027, I would love to stand next to you in one-on-one coaching. Check that out on the website, theencouragerpodcast.com, and let's have a little chit chat about what kind of changes we can make for you. I'm cheering for you guys. Until next time, encouragers, we've got this because he's got us. If this podcast has encouraged you or helped you in any way, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe and leave a 5-star review. It truly helps more women find these conversations. And if you're listening thinking, I don't need more motivation, I need someone to help me figure out my actual life, that's exactly what I do. Through Encourager Academy and one-on-one coaching, I help women build personalized systems for their home, work, and life rhythms. No cookie-cutter routines, but structures that fit your unique personality, your season, and your capacity. You can explore the Academy or book a free discovery call at theencouragerpodcast.com. Let's take your next small step forward together.